All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chad Reynolds here with MHC, and I have the pleasure of running you guys and girls through this webinar today, Kickstarting Your AP for 2022. So let's go ahead and get started. So to kick off here, just introing MHC for those of you who are new to us. Um, you know, why should you partner with MHC, right? So we understand that you and your team, know your operations better than anybody else. You need the agility to make changes quickly without having to wait for IT to respond to a ticket or an inquiry. We believe it's our job to empower business users just like you, from intelligent document capture to dynamically created content and configurable workflows. Our solutions and our expertise are all geared around empowering you. We really do believe that intelligent automation is the key to achieving that empowerment, and that we have a unique proposition here to solve those problems. So that's what we're going to be checking out here in the webinar today. Just a few housekeeping items here before we get started. This session is being recorded, so for anybody on your teams that was not able to attend, you'll be receiving this afterwards. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, if you look in your Zoom meeting at the bottom taskbar there, you'll see a Q&A section. That's where you can post your questions, and I'll be sure to open those up at the end of the presentation. And yeah, like I said, you'll get an email of the recording. You'll also receive a survey at the end. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the content. Like I said, my name is Chad. I'm a senior product manager here at MHC. I've been focused on MHC's next gen platform, which we'll see here in a couple slides. And it's the final countdown, right? Round of applause. We did it. We made it through 2021. Almost. We're almost there. In my brain, I feel like it's still 2019. So I need to go ahead and accept that we're almost in 2022 here. So, obviously this year, ton of unique challenges brought on by the pandemic, right? A shift to mobile work, working from anywhere. At some times there were, problems with staffing, hard to find people, people going to different companies and moving around a lot. And, as we start to think about what we can do in 2022 to, improve some of those things, I know the answer for a lot of people, not only in the AP space, but just in general, is automation, right? We need to start automating. We need to make our processes more efficient and more scalable and easier for our, remote employees, the employees in the office, whomever is utilizing them, to use and scale. And it's of my belief, this might come as a shock, but I believe that automation is not the answer, right? I know this might sound a little controversial, but just bear with me here. I'll get to my reasoning. So when organizations come to us at MHC looking, for help to automate their AP processes, the first thing I want to talk to them about isn't about automation or even about the processes themselves. I want to know what outcomes they want to achieve, right? Might seem a little counterintuitive, but if you focus, too much on the automation too early, you're probably going to fail. There's hundreds of different automation solutions out there on the market. It's very saturated. You can start using them today, right out of the box, but they won't help you solve the big picture of, holistically end-to-end automation. And in all likelihood, you'll end up with, maybe a process here, a process there automated, but not a, like I said, holistic end-to-end optimization solution. And you're probably going to end up with some post-automation blues. So, like I said, I don't think automation is the answer. I think it's just the beginning. So whether you're just now starting out your journey, still dealing with a lot of paper documents, or maybe you have an ERP system that has some degree of automation included, you're still at the start, right? Automation is just the beginning, like I said. The big question is, where will automation take you? And that answer kind of varies because not all solutions are created equally. So everyone, give me a virtual hand raise here if any of these sound familiar, right? The challenges of, most AP solutions, AP automation solutions, excuse me. A lot of them, they have a slow deployment because they require a lot of IT resources and bandwidth to set them up and configure them, not only initially, but also ongoing, right? The ongoing maintenance and kind of updates and things like that. The workflows themselves cannot be easily adjusted by the AP team, right? You have to, like I said, reach out to IT or find someone over on the solutions team, from the provider to do those changes for you. And that's just not efficient. It's not quick. It takes, days, sometimes weeks for those things to get put in place. Like I mentioned earlier, end-to-end AP automation, the whole process is not visible, right? You might have a process here, a process there automated, but when you still have those manual steps in between, you're going to have those visibility blind spots where things still get lost in translation, communication breaks down, and that's obviously no good for anyone involved. And like I said, always need the tech assistance anytime you want to make a change, update an approval rule, add some new GL tables, you have to get IT involved. So like I said, automation, you'll see marginal gains in efficiency. Accuracy will increase, costs will go down, but it's only in isolated processes. It's only going to apply to those areas that you've, set up the automation, and all of those gaps in between where it's still manual. You're going to kind of get diminished value out of all the investment into automation because of those spots in between those processes that still, are very human centric and involve a lot of manual effort. So like I said, automation is not the answer. What we want to aim for is empowerment. So end-to-end process optimization, and that's going to result in all your users are empowered. Your AP team is going to have more time to work on the important stuff, and they're going to be spending less time, like I said, on those manual steps in between, on all of that kind of IT back and forth. All the time will be able to be focused on the important tasks and processes at hand. And that's where we come in, right? So like I said earlier, I've been working on MHC's next-gen platform, and that's what I'll be introducing here today. It's called MHC North Star, and it is a intelligent content and workflow automation platform that's going to empower your people to take ownership of all processes, all documents, and all communications within the simplicity of a self-service model. So this platform, it's fully SaaS, it's in the cloud, and it is all no code, meaning that, like I said, you don't have to involve IT. It's very easy and intuitive using a drag and drop interface and things like that to create workflows, update workflows, add new users, remove users, dashboards, all that stuff. Your AP team can do that. You don't have to, rely on your IT resources to do all those things for you with this platform. So kind of tying into, the whole end of year, getting into the new year, what's your resolution? We believe that MHC North Star is the solution to your resolutions as it relates to your AP processes in 2022. We're going to liberate your teams, by making their day-to-day easier and, giving them more time back by automating all these processes. We're going to delight them, not only the users on your side, but also the vendors and clients that you work with. And it's going to continue to optimize over time. This is not, a kind of set it and forget it solution. Over time, it's going to continue to find ways to optimize and create efficiencies for you. So you're always constantly driving down those manual processes. So today we're going to focus on sort of 4 core functions of MHC's North Star. Obviously, there's a lot more, and if you want a full end-to-end demo from invoice ingestion all the way to payment, at the end of this webinar, we'll tell you how you can request one of those. But today we'll focus on just kind of the big 4. So we'll look at optimizing your cash flow, nurturing better vendor relationships, how to be hit with fewer late fees, and how to reduce your overall error rates. And how I'm going to do it today, I kind of did this webinar a little bit differently. So I'll kind of introduce each of these ideas, each of these kind of functional areas, and then I'll actually play a short video for you, 30, 45 seconds, that will allow you to see the actual MHC North Star in action. So instead of me just talking you through it, just showing some copy on a slide, we're going to be able to see some live insight into the platform today. So starting out with optimizing your cash flow, MHC North Star, you can utilize it to fully control all of your payments, from ACH to check with positive pay, all that good stuff. You can view all of those details within the application. You can approve them. You can, like I said, incorporate positive pay. You can approve in bulk. All of those approvals are saved there for you in the future. If you ever, had the request to go back and find a proof of payment or something like that, very easy to navigate and go find those documents after the fact. So let's go ahead. Let's pull up a little video here and see what it looks like within the application.
Approving ACH payments in batch or individually has never been easier. Your processed payments are always available to review with their associated invoices. Printing checks with positive pay adds a level of fraud prevention to your check runs. Printers can be configured to print the check on one device and the invoice detail pages on another. Just another example of how Northstar organizes the chaos that is AP processing.
All right. So like I mentioned earlier, all of those kind of setup, steps to get those printers set up, all of the different workflows and approval routes for those payments, very easy to do with the platform. Like I said, there's no coding involved. Very simple kind of drag and drop interface where you connect different steps and you can tailor them, customize them to your needs. And it's very easy and simple to maintain moving forward. So next we'll talk about, how you can nurture better vendor relationships. So a big part of MHC's Northstar is being able to configure email notifications, not only internally, whenever there's an approval done or someone needs to perform an action on a step, within your own company, but also going out to your vendors and your suppliers. So it's very simple to add notifications to any workflow, including, invoice approvals, payment notifications, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and check out another video of how those notifications look.
Configurable email notifications can let you know when an invoice is ready to be approved. Simply click the link and you will be routed to the exact invoice that needs attention.
All right. Next, reducing your late fees. So obviously late fees, those are going to be a result of, unprocessed invoices, invoices that took a long time to get to. So we have a lot of different tools within MHC's Northstar to help with this. Starting with our dashboard page here that you can see a snippet of, that's going to help you organize all of those invoices. But also the invoice approval screens themselves are set up to make it as quick and easy as possible, all while using a very modern interface. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like.
Unprocessed invoices can be reviewed in detail before submitting an approval. The PDF invoice image is available, attachments stay with the invoice, and the entire audit history log can be reviewed. Edits can be made to the captured index data, and all of these features are compatible with mobile devices and tablets. Just one example of how Northstar organizes the chaos that is AP processing.
And just to add to that last comment there about the mobile views, all the functionality, whenever you're approving an invoice or a payment that you can do on the desktop view is available in the mobile view. So I'm talking, applying GL distributions, opening up PDFs, all that stuff you can do on the mobile views, just like you can on the desktop. And let's look at an example of reducing overall error rates. So, from utilizing OCR to capture data off the invoices to reducing the amount of GL entry needed, Northstar is just full of, innovative solutions to save your team time and reduce those errors. So we're going to check out a little video here of how the automated GL coding works.
Utilizing the simple drag and drop interface, Configuring your GL settings has never been easier. You can manually add GL line items when approving an invoice, or choose to apply last distribution, which will automatically apply the GL based on the supplier's invoice history. Simply save the GL and approve the invoice. Just one more example of how Northstar organizes the chaos that is AP processing.
All right, so that video showed the GL, the automatic GL coding, but I just wanted to make sure I touched on also, when that invoice is ingested, we also have OCR technology that's going to automatically be able to identify all of those pieces of data off the PDF and map them to your index fields. So really, when that invoice is ready for approval, all the data is there ready for you, no manual entry needed, and you just have to check it out, hit the approve button, and you're good to go. So I know we've kind of covered a lot today in a relatively short period of time. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar here, if anybody wants to see a full end-to-end demo from MHC, like I said, all the way from invoice ingestion through payment submission, you can request those through our website or just reach out to the sales representative you worked with in the past, and they'll be happy to set that up for you. And now I'm going to go ahead, give everyone a minute or two to, if you have any questions, go ahead and pop those in that QA section of the webinar. And I'll check that out here in a minute, and we can go through some of those questions. I'll get them answered for you. All right. See a few here that came in. So one of them was, what happens if we have multiple approvers in different departments who want to do the coding and approvals? So with MHC Northstar, the workflow automation is set up in a way where you can define business rules for routing based on the GL coding and route them to different departments for approvals. So you can have, approval workflow rules that have a single approver. You can have them have multiple approvers. Like I said, you can add those steps in there where each approver will receive that notification, letting them know that they're the next one in the process to check the document out. So there's a ton of flexibility with how you can set up, multiple approvers based on different departments and different GL codes. Let's see, I have a few more questions I saw here. Let me just scroll through. All right, here's one around kind of the security, of the SaaS platform. So what sort of security is kept in place to make sure our data is partitioned away from other users? So all the data in MHC Northstar is segmented per tenant, and each individual user that you have utilizing the platform has their own individual token that controls their access to the data. So you can apply different roles and groups whenever you add users, and from approver to manager, you can create customizable groups to make sure that your employees and users only have access to the tasks you want them to work on. And then just in general for security, MHC, we employ a third party to conduct, annual web application penetration tests, partitioning testing to make sure all of the data is segmented correctly. We also have extensive SDLC and QA processes that include code reviews, technical testing, web application scans. So all kinds of stuff to make sure that your data is secure and safe, and a lot of tools that you can use for your individual users to make sure that they only have access to what you want them to have access to within Northstar. Here's a question, can the system identify duplicate invoices? It can. So I don't believe we saw it with the invoice example I showed here in the short video, but whenever Northstar suspects an invoice is a duplicate, it will appear in your queue as red text. And how it's doing that is it's looking at that invoice's number, the amount, who it's going to, all that stuff, and it's matching that up against previous invoices that have already come in. So, if you have someone, that an invoice has been sent in maybe a couple times in the same week, or, it was an accident, the North Star system is able to recognize that. It's going to alert you with that kind of red lettering, that red text. Hey, this is a potential duplicate. And if it isn't, you can review it and just click, no duplicate, move on as necessary. But if it is, you can say, yes, this is a duplicate, and then it will obviously remove it from the system for you. Let's see if I saw any other questions here. All right, in terms of the dashboards, I saw a question around, how do those work? So that dashboard screen that I showed you, when you log in, that's what you're greeted with, and that's going to give you a ton of different graphs and widgets around not only your invoices but your payments. So you'll be able to see what invoices are aged, average time to approve. Perhaps, if you're a manager, you'll be able to see all kind of invoices and payments assigned by the users on your team. So if there's a bottleneck anywhere, or someone's maybe a little bit behind and they have more invoices than usual, you'll be able to quickly recognize that, and then obviously take action, whether it's reassigning to a different user or processor, or just giving you the insight to speak to that person and find out if they need any help. All right, I think that was the questions I saw come in. I'll give a couple more seconds here if anybody had any last minute ones they wanted to pop in the Q&A section. All right. So like I said, my name was Chad. I had a ton of fun running you through MHC North Star today. Just to wrap it up, you'll receive a link in your email with a recording of this demonstration. You'll also receive a survey, just, kind of garnering more feedback around the webinar, and, what you'd like to see in the future. And like I said, if you want that full end-to-end demo, you can simply visit our website, and it's very easy to request a full demo through there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Had a ton of fun, like I said, and hopefully I'll be able to have more webinars with y'all in the future. Have a good rest of the afternoon. Thanks.